Have you tried everything to lose weight, but your body simply doesn't respond? The yo-yo effect keeps coming back, and you keep wondering why nothing works long term. What if the key isn't in the next diet, but hidden in your horoscope? In Vedic astrology, we can see why your body holds on, stores, or lets go, because every planet influences how you deal with energy, pleasure, and control. And that's where the real solution lies. Not another diet, but awareness. Before we begin, a warm welcome on my YouTube channel. My name is Silvia, Zodiac Group. I'm a clairvoyant medium and Vedic astrologer. And if you love these topics, feel free to subscribe to my free newsletter, where I share weekly inspirations and energetic updates. You will find the link right below this video. I also share insights on Instagram and Telegram, so come join me there as well. In Vedic astrology, the planets don't just shape your mind and emotions. They also influence your body, your constitution, and even your eating habits. They show why we crave certain foods, why we sometimes overindulge, or why we can't seem to feel satisfied, not physically and not emotionally. Each planet acts on a different level. Your metabolism, your digestion, your need for pleasure, your drive to move, or your desire for control. Once you understand which of these energies are most active in your personal chart, you can connect with your body in a more conscious, loving, and intentional way. Because when you stop fighting against yourself and start working with your own unique energy, instead of constantly struggling to change it. Before we dive into the details, let's take a look at the bigger picture. What exactly do we study to find your personal weight loss formula? First, the key planets. We don't analyze all of them, only those that directly influence your body, your instincts, and your metabolism. The Moon, Venus, Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter. And second, the important houses. In your chart, these are three main areas to look at. The first house, this is your body and your self-image. The second house, what and how you eat. And the sixth house, your daily routines and health habits. And also we check the life phases. Vedic astrology works with planetary periods. They are called dashas. Depending on which energy is active in your life right now, a diet that worked perfectly, maybe 5 years ago, may not fit to you today. And then we also will look at the transits. Timing is everything for success. Even the best plan won't work if the planets are currently moving against your energy. That's why we also look at the transits, where the planets are in the sky right now and how they interact with your birth chart. And then there are two important troublemakers, or better said, power drivers, Rahu and Ketu, the lunar nodes. Rahu is linked to endless cravings, emotional eating, food addictions, sudden hunger attacks. And Ketu on the other side is the complete opposite. Ketu represents detachment, fasting, and even extreme diets or loss of appetite. And when you understand where Rahu and Ketu are placed in your chart, you will see your hidden addiction patterns. And that's the real key, to harmonize these extreme forces within yourself. And of course, it's important to work with the Vedic birth horoscope, not a Western one. The two systems are different, and the Vedic chart brings a completely different energetic perspective. Everything I share here today is based on Vedic astrology. And if you don't yet have your Vedic birth horoscope, you can order it in our online shop. You'll find the link below this video. And I also have created a special PDF with all the key points about losing weight through planetary balance. And you can also get this free PDF. The link is below this video. Before we move into the astrological details, let's take a look which energies the main planets activate in your body and in your relationship to food. The moon. The moon represents your emotions, your inner child, and your relationship with food. When the moon is strong, you eat intuitively. You know what your body truly needs. When it's challenged, you may turn to food to comfort your emotions, especially soft, creamy, comforting dishes. The moon loves everything that feels soothing and nurturing: porridge, soups, dairy, rice dishes, food that is warm or room temperature, and above all, soft and gentle in texture. And salty flavors are also connected to the moon. Sometimes you eat a lot with the moon, sometimes very little. But it always reflects your emotional state. If you don't get enough food, you can become moody. Venus governs sensuality, pleasure, harmony, and your need for beauty and comfort. When Venus is strong, you enjoy food as an act of self-love. You care about aesthetics, taste, and creating a balanced, beautiful meal. When Venus is challenged, food becomes emotional compensation for missing harmony or affection. Venus loves everything sweet, soft, and sensual: chocolate, desserts, ripe fruit, and fine spices, creamy sauces, pasta, fresh bread, butter, and honey. Everything that brings a cozy, satisfied feeling to the body and the soul. With Venus, pleasure and enjoyment are key. A beautiful set table or a pleasant atmosphere can satisfy you as much as the food itself. If this sensual experience is missing, you may feel emotionally unsatisfied. Mars is your inner drive, your energy, your willpower, your impulse to act. And Mars rules your digestion, your inner fire. We call it Agni. When Mars is strong, your metabolism is fast, your energy high, and your relationship to food clear and decisive. You know what you want. When Mars is challenged, you may feel restless, crave stimulants, or have impulsive eating attacks. Impatience or frustration can directly affect your eating behavior. You might eat too fast or use food to release inner tension. Mars loves intense, spicy, fiery foods. Grilled dishes, chili, ginger, garlic, onions, citrus fruits, and protein-rich foods. or spicy chips and chicken wings, anything that gives strength and power. You often eat quickly and with focus. If you skip meals while being active, the hunger will hit you even harder later. Without enough physical movement or strong flavor, mass energy builds up and can turn into irritability or inflammation in the body. Saturn. Saturn is a strict teacher. He rules structure, discipline, boundaries, and time. He governs your bones, your teeth, and your ability to build or retain substance. When Saturn is strong, you have iron discipline. You can fast easily and follow structured nutrition plans. You lose weight slowly but steadily once you commit. When Saturn is challenged, you may struggle with a slow metabolism, heaviness, bloating, or constipation. Too much self-control can turn into binge eating or cravings. You may punish yourself with food or feel you must constantly restrict. Saturn loves grounding foods, herbs, and anything that calms your system. Cooked root vegetables, ginger, cumin, fennel, lentils, and dark leafy greens. And intermittent fasting could also be something important for you. With Saturn, you often eat because you think you should, not because you enjoy it so much. Jupiter. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, abundance and wisdom, rules your liver, your fat tissue, and your desire for growth on all levels. When Jupiter is strong, you have an optimistic and generous attitude toward food. You enjoy rich, wholesome meals. When Jupiter is challenged, you tend to go overboard, especially with sweet, fatty foods. Your feeling of fullness often comes too late, and your appetite is often bigger than what you actually need. Jupiter loves everything nourishing, often rich or oily foods, but also sweets. Pastries and bread, nuts and seeds, high-quality oils and stews and hearty casseroles all fall under Jupiter's domain. Rahu. Rahu, the North Node, represents instability, temptation, and craving. When Rahu is strong, you can be extremely disciplined, following radical diets or maybe new eating trends, with a lot of passion and intensity. When Rahu is challenged, you may experience uncontrollable cravings, especially for processed junk food, or exotic or extreme flavors like super spicy or super sweet and addictive food. Rahu loves everything that is artificial and processed, like fast food, frozen pizza and chips, sugar drinks, energy drinks, candy, instant noodles maybe, or ready-made sauces, exotic snacks, spicy foods, and wine, and sparkling drinks, and maybe liqueurs. With Rahu, you often don't eat because you are hungry. You eat from inner restlessness and a deep need for stimulation. Food becomes a way to create the feeling of more, but it often leaves emptiness and the desire for even more. Ketu, the South Node. Ketu represents detachment and your subconscious. When Ketu is strong, you naturally lean toward fasting or simple clean eating. You might avoid alcohol and stimulants altogether, and you are very sensitive to what your body truly needs. This can make you lose your appetite or even forget to eat. You may develop dislikes or aversions toward certain foods or toward eating in general. However, repressed cravings can surface suddenly and powerful. Periods of strict control can be followed by intense desire, revealing the tension between denial and longing. Ketu loves everything simple, pure and natural. Clear soups, rice, cooked vegetables, water and herbal teas. Light, plain meals with little or no spice. Fasting or mono meals, like one type of food per meal. With Ketu, you often see food more as fuel than as pleasure. You can easily skip meals without realizing it, and you may need to consciously make sure you don't fall into undernourishment or neglect your body's needs. So, how can you know which energies are active for you right now? You have 12 houses in your horoscope, and each house is connected to a different area of life. And you have in your birth horoscope 12 zodiac signs, and each zodiac sign represents one of these houses. And it all begins with your ascendant, which marks the first house. And I have created a free workshop on Vedic astrology that explains all the basics step by step. You will find the link to this workshop in the description box below. And there you can learn how to find out which planet is placed in which house, because each of us has all the planets spread across in the 12 houses. And when it comes to nutrition and weight, the most important houses are the first house, the second house, and the sixth house. The first house. This is the house of your body and your personality. It reveals your basic constitution, your physical appearance, and how you interact with the world. Any planet here has a direct impact on your body type and vitality. For example, planet Jupiter. Planet Jupiter speaks about that you might have a tendency to gain weight. And you also find your natural energy level and metabolism here. Saturn here often means a slower metabolism but strong self-discipline. Mars here brings high energy, constant movement, and a strong digestive fire. The second house. Now we come to the second house, the area that directly shows your eating habits. While the first house describes your body's foundation, the second house shows how you nourish that body, how and what you feed it. The second house rules your mouth, your taste and food preference, what you naturally like to eat, your appetite and your daily eating behavior. A few examples. Venus in the second house. You love sweet, creamy and indulgent foods. Eating for you is pure sensual pleasure. With Mars in the second house, you prefer strong spicy flavors, garlic, chili, bold spices. You may eat quickly or impulsive. With Moon in the second house, your eating is closely tied to your mood. Emotional eating can be a theme for you. You may love soft foods and dairy, cheese, salty flavors, or seafood, since the Moon is connected to the oceans. Especially the lunar nodes, they play a big role here. Rahu can bring uncontrolled or unpredictable cravings, strange food combinations. And Ketu, on the other hand, can cause a strong aversion to many types of food, but also sudden cravings for very simple things like rice or dry toast. As you can see, every planet in the second house shapes your eating habits in its own unique way. Of course, there's much more to discover. For example, how aspects from planets can also influence your cravings. But let's it really take simple with this video. And that's why I have created a free PDF summarizing all these details for you. If you want to find out what your personal chart reveals about your eating patterns, you can download it. Use the link in the description. It's totally free. And it's really big. The second house answers the question, what actually ends up on my plate and why? The sixth house represents your daily routines and habits, whether you cook regularly or often choose a quicker, less healthy option. Your discipline and consistency with diets and wellness plans, and your attitude toward work and duty, and whether you sacrifice your own needs or not. A few examples. Saturn in the sixth house. This brings discipline in your eating habits. And your challenge is not to become too strict with yourself. The moon in the sixth house. Your health routine depends heavily on your emotions. On good days, you take excellent care of yourself. Under stress, your good intentions fall apart. With Mars in the sixth house, you attack health goals with passion. Intense workouts or strict diets appeal to you. Just be mindful not to turn your health routine into a fight against your own body. With Jupiter in the sixth house, health and nutrition can become a life philosophy. You love exploring diets, Ayurveda, intermittent fasting, and superfoods, and could talk about them for hours. The risk? You might overthink or overdo it, creating complicated meal plans that are hard to follow in everyday life. The sixth house answers the question, can you keep your good intentions when life gets stressful? Or where do you struggle? And of course, there are many more details and combinations to explore. So check out my free PDF. For many people, losing weight never quite works out. And that often has to do with inherent tendencies in their chart. But that does not mean you are doomed. Now we come to the transits, your secret superpower for perfect timing. Because you have a birth chart, this is your personal cosmic map. But the stars in the sky never stand still. They keep moving constantly, creating new doors and new opportunities for you. And that's what transits are, the movement of the planets across the sky, overlaying your birth chart and activating new possibilities. They help you balance your natural patterns and release blockages. You can imagine it like this. Another chart gently placed on top on your birth chart, adding new layers of energy and potential. Transits are like cosmic allies. They give you the right energy at the right time. How can a transit help you with weight loss? Maybe a transit relaxes your problem planet. For example, a challenged moon in your birth horoscope can cause emotional eating. But if Jupiter passes over your moon, he brings optimism and expansion, and the frustration dissolves, and you see the need to implement healthy food. And also, a transit can activate your strengths. If Venus shows this habit for sweets in your chart, then a Mars transit can give you the discipline and motivation to resist. And suddenly it feels easy to follow your nutrition plan without effort. You stop fighting against your nature and start using the positive waves the universe sends your way. And further examples. Saturn near your natal moon. It's like dark clouds overshadowing your emotions. You might feel low or blocked, not the right time for a strict diet. It simply won't work then. Or Mars activating your sun. This is your energetic solar moment. You are full of power and motivation for exercise. Even if the transit lasts only 1 or 2 months, it can be the perfect start for new habits that you will find easier to continue than later. And when Jupiter is in transit in your 2nd house, and Jupiter stays in one house for about a year, and this can, Jupiter in the 2nd house, increase your appetite immense. So this is a time to stay mindful and focus on conscious, healthy eating patterns. Very important. That's the great gift of transits. Even a short positive transit can be the spark that starts it all. It gives you a taste of how it feels when things flow easily. And that feeling of success and maybe a new routine you establish during that time stays with you long after the transit has passed. And you realize, so this is how it can feel. That awareness and the experience of ease become your lasting gain. But there's another powerful level where timing plays an even bigger role, the dashas. This is something very special in Vedic astrology. And for example, maybe you have experienced in your life a lot of discipline. That discipline comes easily to you. But around the age of 20, something changed dramatically. That could be a sign you entered a new dasha, a long planetary period that activates new energies in your chart. For example, you begin a 90-year Saturn dasha. This is a phase of structure, duty, and maturity. This is the perfect time to build solid, long-term health routines that last a lifetime. Then a Venus dasha begins. Suddenly, pleasure, comfort, and beauty become more important than structure and discipline. And the same strict routine that worked under Saturn may not fit anymore. Now you must learn to connect health and nutrition with joy and enjoyment. The dashas are truly fascinating. In personal readings, I have seen how clearly they explain why strategies that worked perfectly before suddenly stop working, and which planetary captain is currently steering your life ship. In the end, losing weight with the planets comes down to one simple but profound truth. Diets are never the solution. They are a fight against your own nature. Vedic astrology shows us a different path, the path of awareness. When you understand why you eat what you eat, whether your moon seeks comfort, your Venus longs for reward, or your Mars just needs to release tension, you can learn to stop fighting your patterns. Instead, you begin to use the strengths of the planets for you in a conscious way. If you have a strong Saturn energy, your strength is structure and discipline. You can create realistic plans and stick to them consistently. If your Mars is active, your strength is drive and energy. Use it to bring joyful movement and activity into your daily life. If Venus is dominant in your chart, your strength lies in your love and your love for food maybe. But you can learn that a lack of appreciation or harmony in relationships cannot be filled with food. So important. So you can really learn what you really need and how to find solutions. And this way you don't create another short-term diet plan. You develop a healthy, lasting relationship with food that actually fits you. Consciousness is so important and supports you for your lifetime if you want. Because real, sustainable change doesn't come from restrictions. It begins when you learn to work with your unique energy and to guide it wisely. Thank you so much for listening. Share your thoughts in the comments and share this video with your friends and family who also want this better understanding of their weight and how to lose really weight in a good way. I love you.